session of the meeting, starting at 6:10. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Go ahead, would you start?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of public and non-public minutes. Is there a motion?
There are 3 sets, just so that you're aware.
Yeah. Somebody want to make a motion to read that off?
I'm working on getting back in.
Anyone? Oh, you don't have
I didn't kick you out.
Minutes.
I would make a motion to accept the non-public and public meeting minutes of May 16, 2024, May 23, 2024, and May 29, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Les, seconded by Scott. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Roll call vote. Carol? Is he frozen?
I think he is.
Yeah.
Since we lost Carol, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 3-0. Somebody want to do the
Make
consent agenda?
Make a
Okay,
motion
do that
to
first.
seal the non-public meeting minutes of June 6, 2024. Because it is determined that divulgence of this information would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than the member of this board.
How long?
Indefinitely.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Right. Motion by Scott, second by Les. Any discussion? Do we have Carol back?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 3-0.
He said the text says low bandwidth.
Tell him just turn his camera off.
Switched over to the hotspot to see if it's any better.
Obviously.
Yeah. Text him and tell him if he comes back on, just kill his video. It makes it a lot faster.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda for June 6, 2024. Accounts payable payment manifest dated 6/5/24. Accounts payable payment manifest dated 6/6/24. Payroll payment manifest dated 6/6/24. Outdoor seating approval and temporary approval of liquor license amendment for Shackett's Brewery. Administrative abatement for map lot number 220-015-060 in the amount of $114.89. Administrative abatement for map lot number 220-015-082 in the amount of $97.99.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Les. Any discussion?
There are 2 things that are added there, just from the materials that you received already, just to point that out. We had to run a second accounts payable manifest because I missed a payment for someone. So that was, it's in this folder. It was for our media manager.
Okay.
We don't want to miss that.
No,
We
that's
don't want
fine.
to miss that. And then the last administrative abatement was a new one as well. So it was for Davidson's Campground though as well. So
Okay. Everybody so
in
good?
case you have any questions or concerns about it, so.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 3-0. All right. Just moving down the line on the agenda. Christina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Or is
Yeah.
there-
no, you can.
The order is good?
The order's fine, yeah.
Okay. Welfare Director job description.
So Ingrid is here in case there's any questions about it, but it's under number 4. I did a motion, which is a combination of both of the job descriptions tonight. But number 4, WEL, is the actual job description. That did come out in your packets, nothing changed on that. The only thing that really changed from when you approved it in 2023 was that the grade and the non-essential versus essential functions, those were added.
Carol back.
I think he took the video down, I'm not sure if he's back.
Do you want us to go through these individually and then pass them all in one motion?
So you could do them all, I did 2 separate motions for you, and I didn't know again if you have any questions for Ingrid while she's got one other thing tonight, but while she's here, if you had any questions for her.
Does anyone ever? You like doing the job the way it's described?
I don't know if you really want to ask me that. I really don't. I plead the fifth.
Okay. That works for me as well.
It didn't really change from the last time that you saw it, just those 2 things. And of course, we were trying to get all of the job descriptions updated this year. Last year we got sidetracked and didn't finish them. You have 1 more department, I couldn't get to them last night, so I pushed that out 1 more meeting, so.
You want a motion to approve the?
Yeah, is there a motion to
I
approve?
make a motion to approve the 2024
Whoops, sorry.
updated executive department job description for the welfare director.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Les, second by Scott. Do we have Carol?
I don't think so.
Carol, can you speak or hear us? Okay, you're not there. That means you are not there.
You said you had to move closer to a tower.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 3-0. That one I will take the time to sign.
I'm not gonna share all of the PD ones on the screen. Oh, and Carol's coming back in, hang on. I'll just share the motion, but if there are specific questions when you get to that one, just let me know.
For which?
I did not, sorry, I skipped ahead without the chair.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my agenda back. There we go.
Oh, he's in.
Police department?
Yes.
Okay, police
I did-
department job description.
I did not have the chief come tonight. There was just a few things going on today.
Yes.
So, all the job descriptions there, everyone in the department, you have not seen these before, you didn't see these in 2023, these are one of the departments we didn't get to. The only thing that is probably brand new, and that was a change that was made last year, is the detective sergeant. But the rest of these, the rest of these were positions. The detective sergeant was the title change that you made, Chris Carter. So,
Right.
but if you have specific questions about them, let me know. These are them.
In general, it's just updating, it's not
Yeah, I went
major
through,
changes, other than the detective sergeant.
I read through them all last night. I formatted them, changed any typos, put them in the format we use. And nothing jumped. So they're very similar, but some of what they do is mixed around. So nothing jumped out at me that made me say, oh my God, point it out to you. And it's their jobs. It
Yeah.
covers them, so.
Okay.
Carol is raising his finger.
Yep, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay, I went to go over to the game room when they're having bingo, of course. I'm next to the game room in the truck. The patrol officer detective, on item number 7, it says that he's supposed to work hand with other people. I think that should be hand in hand.
I missed a typo.
Good catch.
Okay.
In, not and. Okay. If you go to physical exertion on any one of them, I don't know if it's sort of a standard statement. It says walking, standing, and unusual positions when encountering a criminal, these could lead to death. I'm thinking that's kind of, it seems like the physical exertion should be a lot more specific and strenuous than that. Just, I don't know, maybe that's something that's a standard the chief knows about.
I believe came from the boilerplates from, who did we get these from? NHMA? And Primex, they were boilerplates, so I think they just took the boilerplate from NHMA and Primex.
Okay.
But if we want,
If the insurance company is happy with it.
I mean, if we want to say more, if we want to be more, I mean, it does say, it does say standing, walking, occasional strenuous positions when apprehending law violators. Working conditions may be disagreeable due to varying climate conditions, emotional stress, and exposure to hazards, which could result in total disability or even death. Sounds very harsh, but it is very true.
But it's a description of what they come up against.
It doesn't talk about lifting, because I guess they might have to lift somebody up if they put them down on the ground, but, so I don't know. We could ask for more to be added there, but.
If everybody's good with it, I was just bringing it up as a discussion.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
you guys good?
On all of them, under minimum qualifications, this is a really picky grammatical thing. There's a semicolon, and then the word "or" comes after it, and I don't have one open because I just threw it over here. Hang on.
Here, I can put one up on the screen. I know where you're talking about, but I'll put one up on the screen for you. Let's
It's for those grammarians in the audience, if there is such a word. I don't think that should be a capital O. It looks like the beginning of a new sentence.
No.
Well, they had them both capitalized, so I did just lower it to or without the capital, but we can fix that.
After a semicolon, I don't think it's supposed to be a capital.
No.
Right here.
And then, I know that's really picky, I apologize. And then the last one I have is on the detective, wait a minute, on the patrol sergeant, let me open it up. Under knowledge skills, are you there?
Yep,
Yep.
Let me go back. I think it's the only one of all of them. I checked them all. I don't think the others have it. It's like the sixth line down. It says knowledge of federal and state laws and municipal ordinances. And then farther down it says working knowledge of modern police science. That's good. Knowledge of federal, state, and town laws and ordinances of Supreme Court decisions relative to police officer. I'm okay with all that, but I think this is the only one of the descriptions that says that in it.
this part only, do you mean, this part only you mean? Because they do say, there are others when I read through that say municipal ordinances.
Yeah, it's, we're talking about the second part of the sentence of working knowledge of modern police science, where it says knowledge of federal, state, and town laws and ordinances and Supreme Court decisions. I think it's the only one of the descriptions that says those words. So either way, I guess.
What probably should be, I would think that should be in all of the leadership role ones at least.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if it's saying they have to be, I'm sure that they're training to become aware of Supreme Court decisions. I mean, the Miranda law, right, is a Supreme Court decision, so I guess that makes sense to some extent.
You would think it would also be in the detective sergeant, since he is
Yeah,
also.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's not in there.
All right.
That's all I got, thank you.
Okay. At that point, since we don't have a motion, can we wait till next meeting and approve these?
Yep,
Make
I can take
changes?
those back.
Okay. not mission critical that they're.
No. No, we can make the changes, definitely. We have one more department, water and sewer,
Okay,
so,
we'll do those two then.
Aw. Sorry.
Hey Liz,
I was just gonna say Lucy, but I was afraid I was saying the wrong name.
what's that?
It's Lucy,
Lucy,
right?
yeah, it's Lucy.
Lucy.
Thank you.
Lucy's a good dog.
Grammar expert.
Too smart. All right, moving along then. 2024 proposed paving projects.
So there's nothing in your folder. We're just gonna turn over the hot seat.
We're gonna let Mark wing it.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base with the board and get their opinion on, because we cut the budget this year, which of the selected projects for the year that we would like to proceed with. I have my opinion, and I'd like to get yours and a direction to go so we can get things moving.
What's your opinion?
My opinion is to tackle
We'll start that.
Upper Birch Drive and Bear Mountain Road. Those are two of the roads that are in really bad shape in town. Everything else is fairly good. The other two projects we had slated was the overlay for Bristol Hill and the chip sealing of Smith River Road. They were both shimmed last year, and I really think the shim will hold up for another year before we have to seal them up. And we can move forward with repairing Upper Birch Drive. By reclaiming, grinding it, and regrading the road, we can fix all the drainage issues that we have up there, and I think that's the way to go.
Rather than just paving over what's there.
Right.
I know for a fact from walking on that road that it's pretty much pounded into gravel almost.
Yeah. And by reclaiming, that blends all your base gravel together and makes it an even layer, so it shouldn't heave or too much. It'll help. The only issue is we had $250,000 for paving projects this year. The cost from GMI to do the project is $239,000. We used $30,000 to help pay for the town office parking lot. Leaves me short by about $13,000.
We did,
So we had encumbered some money, but not enough to cover for the whole project. So the whole project was
57 too.
$57,000, but we only encumbered 30. So roughly 27,000 would come out of his paving.
So I think I can cover it out of my gravel line and a few other places to make up the difference to bring them in.
Oh, you do, okay. You gonna do any stone seal or no?
No, that will be out for this year.
Okay,
It was completely cut.
okay, I wasn't remembering that.
Yeah, that line was completely cut out.
Okay. I was gonna say steal money from there, but that's not gonna happen, is it?
No.
I think the intention of prior board was that instead of just putting the Band-Aid on our roads, that we need to come up with a plan and spend the time and effort to rebuild them properly, so we should try to eliminate some of the drainage issues and further damage. So I know in the past, like Overlook Drive we did a complete rebuild there, and it's toning up really well.
Yep, there's a few rocks poking
Yeah.
out, but you can't get them all.
Right, so overall, I think I'm on board with rebuilding those two roads.
I'm happy with Mark's recommendation.
Yeah, we sort of caught up finally on all the roads so that, like you said.
Yeah, everything's in fair shape except
Yeah.
for those two roads.
Yeah, the extra stuff that we would have just paved over this year is in good enough shape to hold.
Right, I think it'll hold up for another year so we can tackle it then.
Okay. You think that's down the road, do you think that's a continuing thing that we can start doing this kind of work and basically work on less miles, but do it much better rather than trying to spread out and catch up
As
like we
needed,
were.
I don't think we need to rebuild the road every year, because,
Right,
like I
yeah,
said,
but
most
certain ones
everything
as
is,
they come up.
right, and as they deteriorate, look at them each year and decide if we wanna redo the whole thing, or,
Okay,
because we have reclaimed quite a few of these roads
okay.
over the years. Hall Road's the most recent, we did that whole thing.
Okay. Sounds like a plan to me.
I think Carol has a question.
Hey Carol, since it's a road that you happen to live on, what's your thoughts? Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, that's right, I abstain. I think Christina might be able to add some to this. In our Lake Water Quality Study Group, some of the findings of the Newfoundland Region Association have been that Black Brook has a definite input of phosphorus to the lake. And it seems to get higher from the culvert that blew out from that area before it goes behind West Shore Marine. So I believe that anything that we can do to improve not having any runoff, any erosion runoff in that area will be really helpful for that, and I think that would be a plus. Christina, does that sound about correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's just, so I agree, but I think and maybe that's something we should start thinking about in the future too. I know it's a little more, we don't have the sampling data everywhere, but in this case we do, like something that would be, it'd help that, and we could claim that as a victory as well.
Did I understand your plan is to regrade it so you can help some of the issues that we saw with all the deluges last year?
Right, because there's some pretty severe rutting in areas of that road. The water gets out in the road and down the road it goes, picks up velocity, and that causes the erosion.
Okay, so you reestablish a crown and
Right.
drain off
Right.
there. Okay. All right. I don't think we really need a motion, but just,
No?
No.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, all I'm looking is just a direction to proceed
Yep,
instead of,
Thank you.
okay,
I think we have consensus, that's the plan.
okay. Then we'll get started on planning that.
Can you get me copies of your quotes when you get them? Thank you. Whoops, sorry.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go right ahead.
While you're both here, because we have a Kelly Park meeting on Monday. What do we think that we can do from the town standpoint if we're gonna put that path to the playground from the tennis court? How much of that do you think the highway department can do? I get you both here.
Well, I know we haven't really seen any kind of plan on exactly what you want, so if you could show us exactly, I think we could tell a little better what we can do.
Okay. You'll be at the meeting anyway.
You know, if it had a sketch and maybe an elevation here and there or something, so we have something to start with.
Somebody looked at it to say that we needed to go up after the tennis court, we needed to go up a bit and then down. I don't think that was Mike Vignali, but, all right, we'll look into that then, try to find out, might have been Scott.
Oh,
I thought Scott had brought
Oh,
that
it
up,
was
they had
Scott.
shot some grades, and that's when they came up with that wall.
Yeah,
He and Dorcas had brought that up.
So there's a wall involved in that now?
it might be.
Something about, Doucette had talked to somebody, and because the elevation dropped from the tennis court to the back of the dugout, and then that it's gonna follow the third baseline, that the drop was too great and they needed to build a small wall there because of just the elevation change.
It would have some seating with, like Allen Block wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and they were talking about an Allen block in there, so. Their thought was if they were gonna do it, if they had the 3 foot, you could sit along that wall also if you wanted to.
That's what, someone did some, it wasn't Garth, was
It probably was Scott, we'll have to check with
It
Scott.
might have been.
So the encumbrance money only can be done with the people that we encumbered it for, which, we have GMI asphalt that we encumbered,
Right.
the 7,650,
Yep.
with the intent that the highway department was gonna do something.
Correct.
with it.
Right. Yep.
And then Hiltz for material was $2,296.
So that's what we encumbered those
Yeah.
two?
And then I was wrong on the first number, it was 32,000 that we encumbered, so, for the parking lot.
Thank you.
You good? All right,
Okay?
thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
See ya.
See ya.
Enforcement update, land use department.
So we asked Joanne, or Joanne wanted to ask, I didn't ask, Joanne wanted to come back, she's gotten for punishment. But Joanne, actually wanted to, I'm not gonna share it on the screen, but it's in your folders under number 7, if you wanna follow along. We asked Joanne to create, are you raising your hand to us? No, okay.
Okay.
So we asked Joanne to create a case number spreadsheet, so, or a list, and what they use to, how they go by their setting, and so when she's talking to you tonight, she's not going to refer to a person's name, but she will refer to the case number, so I will turn it over to Joanne.
Thank you. As you may recall, I think it was about a month or so ago, Mike Lacasse, who's the town's permitting officer, and myself were here to talk to you about what our strategy would be in handling enforcement issues, in particular junkie yards. Not to be confused with Steen Gilpatrick's junkyard.
Right.
So there are, throughout the town, there's obviously different degrees of people's perception of junkie yards. And from the land use perspective, we're focused on what the zoning ordinance allows and all of that. So we've taken a look at particular properties that have been on the town's radar, in some cases, many, many years. And the town has worked with the property owners in varying degrees over the years, and they come into compliance, they fall out of compliance, they come into compliance, they fall out. And the challenge has been, I think in the past, not to cast aspersions on anybody, I think it's just been a staffing issue to continue the momentum and to take it through to keeping the properties in compliance. So my team, we've looked at these properties and we've identified 13. There are more, but these 13 properties we basically categorized as severe, moderate, and under a watch guide. The severe are ones that have been on the town's radar for many years. We've worked with them to some degree. They've worked with the town. They've come into compliance, and then in other situations, they haven't done anything. So we've classified 4 properties out of the 13 as severe. The first one, and this is just to give you kind of an update as to where we are with these. The 4 properties, Mike and myself, initially we sent out letters to all of these properties, whether you were a severe, moderate, or watch, just to say, hey, we need to get together and talk. Depending upon the situation, some of the letters may have been a little bit more harsher than the watch properties, but let's set up a time. We want to set up a time for an inspection. So on the 4 properties that are considered severe, we did set up the inspections. Mike went out on the first inspection, he used the new form that we created, which is a triplicate form. He goes out there, he asks permission of the property owner if he can take pictures. He notates everything that he sees. He sets the expectation, or gives the deadline of, okay, based on your property and the situation here, the town or the land use team is giving you X amount of days or months to remedy this situation. This is the end date. And to get to the end date, we're going to establish timelines that I'm out here checking on you throughout that period. So we've already had our first inspections in most of these situations. These people were given their end date. We've seen improvements, and then there's some that are just, they keep throwing up flags, which was expected. But we're working through it, and really I think the end goal is to work with a property owner, have them realize the situation, have them come into compliance to avoid any legal action. I mean, nobody wants to go that route, but we're prepared to if necessary. And that's really the message that we're given. So the 4 severe is the case 116088. You can see what that property has on it. We're scheduled to go back out there, not this upcoming Monday, but the Monday following. That property owner seems to be willing to work with us. Again, we've been in that situation with them before. The next property, we were scheduled to go out there this past Monday. We got a phone call that the individual we were meeting with was sick, couldn't meet with us, which we said, okay, we understand that, but that doesn't change the end date. So we still need to come out to meet. So the next property, which is the 217138, Mike and I are scheduled to go out there on Monday. And again, there has been some progress. I had communication with property owner today. She emailed me and indicated that some of the things we talked to her about, she's already done. She has some challenges, she says, and we're willing to try to work with her through those. The last property, the 214022 SOU, that property we've not gone on site, but the property owner has taken it upon themselves to do all the work, and they actually asked for an extension to the final deadline out to July 1st, which we were willing to grant, as long as the end result was going to be, they were going to be fully clean. The moderate properties, there's a couple that I want to just go and hug the property owners, because they've done a spectacular job. It's just so nice, especially growing up in this town and driving by a couple of these properties for so many years and seeing them, and now seeing what they look like. It's just so nice. And then the watch ones, there's a property under the watch that I also, he's just done a fabulous job. I drive by that property at least a few times a day, and he's really taken the situation seriously and is willing to work with us. So again, I wanted to give you a recap to what we're doing. Our plan on visiting these properties is once a month until they're in compliance. More if needed, but we don't also want to be pressing the property owner. One of the challenges, or one of the things that we hear from property owners, is their inability to dispose of what they've collected. And I know past situations, I think we've come to the select board and asked for amnesty to use the transfer station to dispose of stuff. I'm not asking for that. I'm not going that route right now. What I have done is I've reached out to companies, organizations that actually do that work, and I've listed a few of them that we've met with over the past couple weeks. Junket, New Hampshire, Junket Stuff, and New Hampshire Junk Couple. The Junket, New Hampshire, actually another town has used in a property takeover situation. That doesn't apply in these cases here. But, and the last one, the New Hampshire Junk Couple, may be options. I've collected business cards. We're prepared to give these cards to these property owners to say, you can establish this relationship with these companies. But if it does get to the point where they're not compliant and we have to go a different route, I have some costs associated to what they would charge to actually remove what needs to be removed. And it seems pretty reasonable, because if we were to grant amnesty and they haul all that stuff to the transfer station, obviously there's a cost to the town anyway to dispose of it. So that's what we're doing with the enforcement issues.
Nice work.
It's been, yeah, and it's, Mike is just a great guy to have on the team. When he shows up, I think people take him pretty seriously because he's not a little guy. So that helps. But also, I just wanted to let you know, outside of just the enforcement things, with the land use permits, year to date, we have issued 103 land use permits. All of last year, we issued 191.
Yeah.
We have collected year to date, out of the 103 land use permits, more money in land use permit fees than we did all of last year. So we're busy, and it is really refreshing. We have individuals that are still learning and so forth. But it's been really refreshing to hear from property owners when they come in and they thank us for what we're doing. That they didn't know that they needed a permit for a shed, but now they do, so they're letting their neighbor know, or their deck, or whatever, those types of things. So it helps when you have that kind of response from people. But that's all I have.
I've had a couple people say that, their dealings with Mike, his approach is really good, he's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not adversarial or
Not at all.
anything, so he's doing things right in that
Good.
respect, obviously,
Good.
which is good.
Well, I'll pass that
Good
on to
feedback.
him. Yeah, pass that on to him. But any questions or?
No? Anybody? Carol? Any questions? Good. He shook his head. I can hear
Thank you.
I can hear the rocks.
Can't hear that.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
Bye, Joanne.
Bye.
All right. You can go right on. Safety manual update?
Yes, let's start. We are in the middle of a Primex renewal certification process. So apparently the last time we did this was in August of 2022, which was before me. Before me here.
Yes.
So they extended it and they decided to start doing it in the spring. So this is the first time I've seen this. And we had 18 months apparently to come into compliance on some things. I had to ask for the reports because I hadn't seen them before. So in the renewal certification, you have to do 2 different self-assessments. And if you answer no to any of the questions on the self-assessment, you can't renew until you address your no answers. So one of the first no answers, when I was starting to go through this, was on the joint loss safety manual. You have to have reviewed it every 2 years.
Okay.
So obviously, if you look at the dates on the cover page, we hadn't reviewed it since September of 2020.
Miss 22.
Yeah. So, we had a joint loss management, and for the next item too, the same thing applies on the agenda.
Okay.
And then there's one thing under the TA report we'll talk about. But we had a joint loss management committee meeting this week, and we talked about, we reviewed the self-assessment survey. I reviewed it with the department heads as well. And then we talked about the safety manual, and this is an extensive manual. They didn't feel that there was any changes that needed to be done to it. So the only thing I've done in your folders, what I sent to you, was change the cover page and the signature page. Everything else was left the same on this particular one except for that. And this joint loss committee was pretty comfortable with not making any changes to the manual. But we did need the official vote of the board in order to be able to say that it was reviewed, which it was by joint loss, and to move forward, so.
It's only 100 pages.
Just a few. And if you are okay with that, I printed out an official copy and the signature page is here. I don't know if there are any questions about it.
Carol, do you have any questions on it? Any questions or concerns on the safety amendment?
Grammatical errors?
No, I do not.
Okay. Anyone else? No issues? I'll entertain a motion then, if someone wants to venture.
Make a motion to accept the updated,
Approve.
to approve the Town of Bristol Joint Loss Management Committee Safety Manual.
Second.
All right. Motion by Les, second by Scott. Any further discussion? Roll call vote since we have Carol. Carol?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Les?
Aye.
Don? Aye. Passes 4-0-0. Thank you. Next
So
is...
the next one, I did make minor changes to. I put that in the email that I sent out to you. The joint loss manual, we updated, again, the first page. The signature pages, we had typos in the document. I referred to finance HR, so I changed those to all HR, and then I reformatted everything. No content changed, and joint loss is asking the board to approve it as well with no other changes. And then both documents have to be submitted by June 14th. That's the only reason that we're trying to get them into you in order for us to be able to submit them, so.
Okay. Again, Carol, any issues with that one? No? Scott? Les?
No.
Good. Okay.
There are 2 signature pages on this one. I will have the joint loss members come in and sign, but we just wanted to get the vote done by the board, and
Okay.
so.
Is there a motion to approve this?
Sorry.
Warren?
Make a, yes, empty. Make a motion, no. I felt so loud. Make a motion to approve the Town of Bristol Joint Loss Management Committee Joint Loss Management Program Manual.
Second.
Okay, motion by Les, second by Scott. Roll call vote. Carol?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Les?
Aye.
Don? Aye. Passes 4-0-0. Oh, you need more, Warren. We are down to TA report then.
You don't have a TA report technically typed up in your folders.
Well,
Do you have some?
there's no written, but you will
You have
give,
some
you
materials.
will give your report now.
I'm gonna skip around a little bit because Ingrid's here for one of the items.
We don't have anything written, so we don't know if you're skipping around or not.
I could have just not said that, but I did tell you I did.
But-
I did.
You know I would have to comment on it.
I know. Well, I like this because I can add whatever I want and not have to hear it.
Shannon won't be here all night as usual. Christine and I do this all the time.
Yeah, it's usually a planning board, but. Did I open the wrong one? No, so you get it? Yeah, okay. Let me just share it for Carol. So you did not see this yet because Ingrid was helping get this done. Yes, so we did, so one of the things that we did have to do, and then also as part of this renewal certification. Okay, sorry, I can't push this. There we go. So we already have in our personnel manual a temperature. Oh, for signature. We already have a temporary alternative duty program in our personnel manual. What we'd like to do is, because we found out that you have to have a list of tasks that for temporary alternative duty. So we took a sample policy that came from Primex. We decided we didn't, it was 44 pages, so we didn't need that because we already had information in our manual. What we'd like to do is add a line at the bottom of the personnel manual in that section that says see administrative policy. We might change this title. We forgot to put that in here though, in the title.
Section 17, the top of corner, administrative policy.
Oh, I see it, yeah. I didn't see it because I put my glasses on. So we want to add just a sentence in the personnel manual, nothing else, don't change the date, no changing signatures, that just says, see administrative policy section 17.1 for this to be added in. When we talked about the personnel manual, I think we also pointed out to you, we thought it would be better to have administrative policies for certain things, so you didn't have to change the personnel manual every year.
Right.
But if you had to update certain administrative policies, and they already exist in there, for instance, the joint loss manual is referred to in the personnel manual, so is the safety manual. So we could make those changes without having to change the personnel manual every year. So this one didn't have that sentence in there, so if you're okay with that, I would just put that sentence in our manual. And then I'll let Ingrid explain what we did with, I'm not putting you on the spot.
I was just given a task and now it's just a goal on it.
I mean, this, and obviously this is a draft, no one else has seen the draft, but in a way, it's also the final so that we can submit it by June 14th. Then we can re-review it and make changes to it after that and come back to you. But we have to be able to submit something to Primex in order to complete our renewal, so.
Because we can't have a note.
Yes.
So that's basically what I'm gonna do. So we talked about the department head meeting a little bit. Department heads were asked to come back, shoot us an email with different, basically bullet points as to what some tasks were within your department. Feedback was, you can't have, I mean, as Christine said, you can't have somebody work on a DARE project because they're not DARE certified. That requires going to training. So, make sure that any task that was provided was that person was certified, qualified, licensed to be able to do that task. And then we left the task list just very generic. Being more specifics would come from the supervisor of the day if that needed to happen. We got some feedback from a couple of the department heads with some lists. Others, we pulled out of a hat.
We didn't.
I'll be honest. We didn't try, but kind of worked within the departments, but also, there's a lot of it that's obviously very generic across the board. There's always going to be filing that needs to be done, the scanning that needs to be done, computer input that needs to be done. But maybe, the fire department's got a couple of little extra things. Welfare's got, some different things in it. But again, it just goes back to what that department head feels is available based on that person's ability. So as you can see, the purpose, intent to, can Carol see it or not?
I did share it on the screen for Carol. Carol, can you see that?
I think he froze
I think he froze again.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
He's blocking.
No, I can see it, but I can only see down to the end of the paragraph on procedure, so if you go farther than that, just scroll by one.
Okay, I can, yep.
Perfect. So again, this was really thrown together in about 3 days of looking at different towns and how they'd gone about it. But it was really getting employees back to work. Some of this again was taken from the Primex sample manual. Are you warm enough over there?
No, it's warm in here.
It is warm in
AC
here.
on.
It's really warm here. Work is limited and transitional in nature. Transitioning those duty elements as the employee's work capacity increases. Again, keeping to assignments and physical capabilities based on treating physicians. As such, duties may include an assignment from a different job position or may require creatively selecting various assignments from different positions. It's required that they, again, feedback from department heads that they're certified, qualified, licensed to complete the assignment. We can't have somebody come in and help in the fire department doing inspections when they haven't had the training to be able to do inspections. The procedure, so that was the purpose. Procedure, essentially, if an employee is out, if I get hurt tomorrow and I'm out and I request temporary alternative duty, talk to my department head for assignments within my department first. Then have the department, once those have been exhausted, the department head reaches out to HR, who can then in turn reach out to different department heads and say, hey, this is the restrictions I've got of person X, this is what they're capable of doing, do you have anything? Great, I'll send them over to you on Tuesday. When they've exhausted those options, it goes back to the department head, goes back to HR and gets fished out again. Until we're basically kind of out of assignments or hopefully they're back to work. Fingers crossed. So as you can see from the list, we're at a scroll point. Again, trying to keep it fairly generic. More specifics, would come the morning of that person's arrival in the department. But scanning and filing, computer input for welfare, because Lord knows there's plenty of files to be scanned. Fire department, filing paperwork, scanning, typing, computer input, answer phones, etc., etc. You guys are all capable of reading. So police department, assessing land use, executive, town clerk, tax collector, highway, water and sewer. Obviously some departments are harder than others. Someone's got a broken leg, what are they going to do with highway? But really simply. But it also, we wanted to make sure, department heads wanted to make sure that somebody else wasn't put out of work. So, a firefighter is unable to climb on the truck, so they're helping out administratively, but are they taking away from the administrative assistant or the deputy? You couldn't really have that. So that was the basics of that. As Christina said, we've got this kind of snippets from department heads. It hasn't gone back out to them, but we needed to get something on paper signed off by you guys to at least submit with this, and then we can go back and review it better with the department heads and really nail it down a bit more, hopefully.
We did get general consensus discussion with them, and this is what we came out of from that general consensus and discussion besides the email list that we received.
Yeah.
So, and then our plan, obviously, is even after we submit it to Primex, is to come back to, we won't have another department head meeting until August. We're canceling July. So in August, we'll have another department head meeting. We'll take another look at this and just see if there needs to be any changes, updates, and bring that back to you again, so.
We didn't want to make it too cumbersome. I mean,
No,
the original list that we created for the fire department was about 3 times longer because you had the category of filing and paperwork and then you had subcategories. It really doesn't need all that. It just needs that basic list and, because those items are going to change.
Yeah, just a general description of that type of work is fine.
Yeah.
And then that was the theory. We put in the comment about transferring to another department as a catch-all because there are gonna be things that you can't do at highway, but we could set you up to scan or file here potentially, so.
I mean, predominantly, this building would realistically have the most that could be potentially done by somebody. But you're supposed to, by labor standards, start them off in their own department, keeping them in their environment. And maybe there's stuff that can be thrown in a box and taken down to highway that they can do with their people.
I think Carol might have a question. No?
Carol?
No, he's just making faces.
Okay. Did you have anything to add or ask?
Yeah, sorry, it's the pollen here.
Oh, Lucy was raising her hand instead of you?
Talking to Lucy.
She's smart enough to raise her.
If you're good with the start of this, just to approve it for tonight, that would be great.
Yeah,
And
that
then
looks
we'll bring
good.
it back to you
Yeah.
when we begin.
Everybody good?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the temporary alternative duty program under Administrative Policy 17.1, effective date June 6, 2024.
Second.
All right, motion by Scott, second by Les. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Carol?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Les?
Aye.
Don, aye. Passes 4-0-0. You have one official?
Yeah, there's an unstapled copy.
Right.
He's got it. And I just wanted to say, thank you to Ingrid. Ingrid stepped up and helped out and got this, typed up and ready to go, and I couldn't have probably got it done without her, so it's.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like work, it's a lot of work, but something like this takes a lot
Takes a little
more,
time.
a lot more than what it looks like.
Yeah, and it's the first one of the administrative policies that we've really been able to like throw some bolts into and figure out how we were going to number them, and so it's a good starting block at least, if nothing
Yeah,
else.
oh no, it's great.
So it's great.
We'll start having
Thank you.
more administrative
No worries.
policies.
Great job. Yeah, great job, thank you.
No worries.
We'll start having more administrative policies coming before you,
Okay.
because we do have to get those updated now that we've gotten the manual done, and then we'll go from here, so.
Thank you, Ingrid.
You
Have a
are
good night.
most
Have a good
welcome.
night.
You as well. Hopefully she won't keep you too long with her list of
Oh,
Lists.
Anything
She's
else
not
on your
I
list?
said thank you, now get up.
Anything else on the list that we don't know about?
Dawn.
Yes, there is. So I think, I did send in your packets, the MS 737, which is the budget committee's budget, so that you could see that in comparison, to the next document I'm gonna ask you to vote on and approve. One of the things that we've missed doing, and, part of it's just been, stretched a few different directions, it's actually not in your packet. I can't believe I forgot to put it in, sorry.
There's a Department of Revenue,
Is it there?
yeah, it's the second line, all the numbers. 0520.
Oh, I did,
No,
yeah,
it's
oh,
just
good.
gotta-
Is that
I'll
what it-
share it for you, Carol. Nope, that's not the right
That's
one.
not it?
Nope, never mind. So I can't share it for you, Carol. So what we have to do, usually 20 days after town meeting, is called a report of appropriations actually voted. So, I worked with DRA today and learned how to use their system, because I've never done it through their system before. And, both Lindsay and I sat down, and so she would know how to do it going forward as well. So we had to go through, and I'll hand this so that you can take a look at it. And, any appropriations that were voted in town meeting, anything that was changed, the only thing we changed was the warrant article for the capital reserves. So we did put that number in. We've double checked the MS 737 number of appropriations versus the number that's on the MS 232, all these MS numbers on this new document, and they match perfect.
Okay.
So you certainly look at it and just take a look if you want. We dropped the capital reserves from 405. And he has the
Dropped it
numbers
80.
up to 375 or something, no, 325. Thank you, 325. It was 80, so 405 down to 325, so. Can't add today. So, so that's that document. Once if you're okay with it and you approve it, and you sign it, then I have to submit it back to the Department of Revenue tomorrow and some other items that we still owe them.
Okay, so just need sign and motion.
Motion and then,
Okay. Since you have it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 MS 232 for Town of Bristol.
Second. Drifted.
Any discussion on something we haven't seen yet?
You want to look at it? I'll take her word that it
Carol.
matches
Carol, any thought? Yeah.
town warrant.
So if you open
It does go through all.
the MS 737 from last night's email, the number under appropriations, let me just see. I think I can pull it up on the screen for you too. I think that was in there. Jesus Christ.
9,602,317.
Okay, I give up. It's not in there.
Did you want to see it?
No.
So I did send it to you in your email. Let me tell you what the number was in the email so that you know. How's that? That will help.
I don't know, where's the town report?
Jeez and crow, we should turn the air on.
We don't have an extra town report around?
Yeah, there's
It's
boxes.
out there, yeah.
It
Well,
would be there as well.
It's right here, yep. I just have to rotate it, sorry.
Those would have to be amended.
Any comments on it, Carol, while we're in discussion of the motion?
No,
Right here.
no, just trying to follow along here. Are you looking at something I have? In my
No,
folder?
yes, in your folder, you should have had the MS 737.
I got that, yeah, I got that open. But
So
I
I-
was looking for an email where you said something, but which
Oh,
one
I-
was it?
I didn't get to send you this, we finished
Never
this
mind.
this afternoon.
Okay, perfect, okay.
So the number on the MS 737 for appropriations was 9,682,317. So it's exactly the 80 that you took
80.
out, yep.
Can you tell me what page you're on in there?
If you go to the, page 11 of the MS 737,
Yeah.
see
Oh,
the,
it's, 9682?
yes.
You said 9682, 317?
That's what we put in for the budget committee number before town meeting, but the number on this, Dawn, do you wanna read it to the right number?
Good, that's what you got.
9,600,317.
682?
No,
Oh,
602.
602. Yeah, 80,000.
Where is that at?
So this is on the 232.
You don't have that one, I
Yeah.
don't think.
That's,
Kara, what it is this, the 737 is what was budgeted and proposed. The 732 is what we have, or 232?
232.
232, sorry. The 232 is what
Sorry,
was
Kara.
gonna, is the number at the end of town meeting that we just have to report.
Sorry, I didn't realize you jumped documents there, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, any other questions, thoughts? Roll call vote, Carol? Yeah, I'll take that as an aye.
All right.
Scott?
Aye.
Les? Don, aye. Passes 4-0-0. The motion was Scott, the second was Les. Good. Good. Christina, what's up? What else you got?
I keep going back and
Oh,
forth.
nothing. Okay. Shall we
Yeah,
move on to?
you wish. In your packets, I think that Scott had referred to it, it was, the document that was labeled as a number.
5/20/24,
Yeah, I'll share.
100,000.
So this is the equalization,
Oh.
come on.
State equalization rate.
Yeah, so this is the state equalization of the town's value.
How are we looking?
So when you look at these numbers, the 2023 total equalized valuation, what they do is they take any pilots that we have, payment in lieu of taxes, they take and adjust things based on our equalization and also based on the pilot. The pilot is like we would say it's a $10,000 payment. They take and they make that a value. So based on the $10,000 payment and offset it. So I think we have one pilot right now, and then they take into consideration what utilities are. And they came up with a total equalized valuation for the town of $1,039,356,258. They do this and then they tell us what our base valuation is for debt limits. So we are allowed, our debt can't exceed that number. If we had to borrow more money and we were exceeding that number, then we wouldn't be allowed to borrow. But it's $1,036,000,000 that we can currently, yeah.
So it doesn't concern
Whoever's
us.
whoever's on this board should be tarred and feathered if we even got close to that.
Yeah, so it is just informational purposes for you that we share this. Obviously, our value is closer. Right now, our total assessed value, which is the modified local assessed value, is at the 561 million. And then they take all of these adjustments into consideration, payment in lieu taxes, and if we had railroad tax, and then they come up with this $1 billion number, so.
Adam DeMoncourt was a local kid, wasn't he?
Who?
Yeah, the one who signed it, assistant director.
Oh yeah, I think he was.
That's even better.
So this is just informational purposes. In the back, there were some definitions, some more information about how they do this.
Yeah.
And if we were going to dispute it, sorry Carol, did you need me to stay? If we were going to dispute it, so we would contact them, but we have no reason to dispute the number that they've come up with, so.
Okay. Very good. What else you got?
Let's, while Paul Reagan is here, I'm gonna pull this up. I was supposed to put this on the agenda and I missed, so I asked Paul if it would be okay if I put it on the town TA report. It's really gonna be hard to see this. It's in your folder. It should be budget committee schedule. I'll try to share it for Carol. But if it's okay to let Paul take the floor for this.
Do you need me to sit at the hot seat, or can I talk from here? Okay. So we had an organizational meeting in April. We elected a chair and a vice chair, which were the same as last year, and we
Congratulations.
welcomed our new member, Joe Christie, replaced Charlie, and I put out a proposed meeting schedule, which we went over in general. And it's basically trying to hit a rhythm. I've been coached that if we have a rhythm, people are more likely to know what's coming up. So it's generally it's the second and the fourth Tuesday of every month. But our work is constrained that we can't start before we get the select board to come to give us, and we have to finish by a deadline set in the RSA that the public's meeting to present to the town can't be after a certain day. So I did the research to look at the RSA and confirm that we would be in compliance with that, but I didn't want to just assume. What I did was I went by the schedule that the select board has done for at least the last 2 years, so that you guys would finish your proposed budget by the second meeting in October. Does that look right, Christine? I'm saying that right?
I think so, let me think.
So that would be the
Deadline for select board budget.
the third Thursday in October, and then the following Tuesday, Rob or somebody from the select board would come to that budget committee meeting and present the select board, and then we would then kick off having our detailed meetings. Again, like last year, we're not gonna have a session where we're asking all the department heads to come in. I put in some dates, just assuming you do the same thing, where you'd have the meetings the weeks before, where you'd bring the department heads in. Last year, I came and sat through that. Any other budget committee, I'm gonna encourage the other budget committee members to come if they want to. But if you guys tell me that there's a big problem that that October meeting doesn't work for you, we need to talk about it now, because the schedule works, but it's tight. There's not a lot, there's no extra meetings. I was assuming that if I asked you to go early, you'd laugh at me and say, haha, no way. And I gotta tell you, if you say, no, we wanna go later, you select board wants to go later, I'm gonna laugh at you and say, no, I can't do that.
Too bad I'm
So
gonna start
I
at
think we're
12.
tying into this, but I wanted.
All you'll do is start anyhow.
But I wanted to give you guys this briefing and make sure that it works for you, or at least get your comments if you have some concerns. So that's why I asked Christina to put it on your meeting.
Oh, I have comments, but I'll let everyone else go first.
I was at the meeting where we talked about it, I'm fine with it.
I'm good. Yeah, I was always an advocate for the select board to get their work done before the budget committee started. Drove me crazy when we were still doing it, the budget committee was already working, because that's not the flow it's supposed to be.
No,
So-
the RSA says that if you guys put together a proposed budget, you hand it over to us as an official budget
Yeah,
committee, and then we work from that. So if you don't give it to us, we
right.
really should wait, but then we're gonna start having more,
Yeah.
multiple meetings in a week or something, which is crazy.
Right, which is crazy. So you're okay with the schedule that you came up with the date?
I'm okay, it's the
Is
same
there-
as last year.
Yeah.
It's within a day or two of last year's schedule. We will need to talk as a group to set your budget
Well, that's,
work
yeah.
sessions coming up, because last time we had to meet every week, and we did regular meetings with a work session, and then we did the off week, we did a work session, then so we had met, I think, 4 weeks in a row to get the budget done. I don't know if you wanna start earlier, you
Well,
may
that was
wanna.
gonna be my question, and we should have Robin in on this discussion, obviously, too. Especially since the chair is the one that sets the agenda officially. But, yeah, if we could start 2 weeks earlier to give them some slack room, because you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, I would be all for that.
So we would need to move, so September 23rd right now is the department budget proposals due to the select board.
And that's just a date that I put in, based on then you would meet 4
What we
weeks in
had
a row
last
to
year.
get to your deadline.
So that's fair, I think last year it was the 20th or something like that. So September 23rd it is okay to a point, but it's hard you still have September, October, November, December. You may not know all of your stuff in your budget still, but.
Yeah, but, yeah, you won't have hard numbers, but a budget is a guess to begin with
Right.
anyhow. So I understand that argument, but I never fully accept it as a reason not to put a number in. Because you don't know how much fuel you're gonna use, but you put a line in because you have the history of it.
You just
So-
don't know if the rates are going to change
So,
potentially.
I guess what I wanna say is to tell the department heads, okay, you don't have that definite number, but put your best guess in and we'll go from there. Because we can always adjust it at the end.
I was gonna say, let you guys know, you all served on I mean, it's not unusual for a budget, for a department head to come in December or early January and say, well, the number I gave in September now needs to be updated because something has changed.
Yeah,
It'll be a plus or a minus.
It's
but
gotta be
crazy change.
10,000 more, it can be 5,000 less, whatever. Yeah, so, but to get your best guess to start with is the way they have to start thinking.
So 2 comments from me then is that June 20th, you should have a full board here. You should probably talk about your expectations for budget
We
ahead
should.
and set your schedule ahead while you have a full board in the room. Because then we're giving plenty of advance notice to the department heads to start getting their stuff ready, one.
Yeah,
The second part is CIP needs to start meeting earlier as well.
I was gonna bring CIP up later, but I may as well do now, being the chair from last year. I'm a little bit late on getting things organized, but my goal there is to get stuff out before I started working with Joanne.
Yeah.
And,
Well, she hasn't
and,
seen this schedule, so we probably.
Did you enter it in with this schedule, or we haven't firmed up on the CIP schedule yet? I have to get back on
I
that.
think there is something in there that's just based on last year that
And
We may want to adjust that around, because you should present to the planning board first.
yes,
Then you can go to the select board next, and then the budget committee.
right.
But, and so I can double check with Joanne what her thoughts were.
Yeah, whatever dates we were working with, we'll get those firmed up.
Oh,
Now that
yeah.
we have this, it'll be easier to firm up that schedule as well.
See, because it puts you capital improvements way into November 26th.
No. November, no. It's,
Well, that's what we did last year, so I think.
I know, it was totally wrong last year.
So planning board was so we can move, we can fix that before and then move you up on the budget.
Yeah, I think what I was working on is to have CIP done in August. I mean,
Which you could probably present the same night you do the select board presentation, could be CIP presentation as well.
yes,
But that would mean if you're done in August, you'd have to get planning board in August, September, and also select board August, September. We could do that.
right, that's the plan.
So-
And the CIP is mature enough now that it's really just updating, so it's not that bad. I think the committee can do it in probably 2 or 3 meetings, and it should be fine.
Before we go on, just one other comment real quick. I found it, and I think the entire budget committee found it very helpful last year to get the select board's statement of priorities. And I think you're planning to do that again, but I wanted to say, if you're not, I would urge you to do it. It really it helps us quite a bit.
That's good.
That's one of the things I reported back from our meeting, was that for us to set our goals was very helpful to the committee.
Yeah, that's good. That makes sense too.
You guys
Yeah, we
set,
did
you
it.
guys set
Yeah,
policy, so
yeah.
if we don't know what the policy is, sometimes we have to guess. If you tell us what the priorities and the policies are,
Yeah.
then we're working to support those.
This is why these numbers look the way they do.
Yep.
So just so you know,
You
Dawn.
don't have to agree with it, but
We did, so what we did was a one-page memo that outlined the top 5 priorities, goals,
perfect.
and brought that to the budget committee level.
Yep.
Absolutely a great idea. I love it.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if Carol has any.
Carol, any input?
None?
Yeah,
That was nothing.
the earlier the better on this for me, if we start a little bit earlier, because I'm still learning this process of the budget, and the more time the better for me, so earlier is not a bad thing.
Okay, cool. I think we're in agreement.
I think so.
Thank you.
Very good. No, thank you. Putting a schedule like that together helps a lot.
I'll schedule the first discussion for you next meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, throw it on the agenda for next meeting. Later in the agenda when Rob gets here. If he's gonna be here late.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. What else you got?
All committees, we did reschedule. I'm going to be sending, oops, this isn't it. All committees, we did reschedule. I'm going to be sending out invitations, hopefully tomorrow. It was rescheduled for June 26th, and we moved it to, I think we moved it to 5:30 because there's a planning board meeting that night, and we're going to add a sentence to the invitation that if anybody wants to stay, they're gonna be talking about the master plan, and that if anybody wants to stay for the planning board discussion on the master plan chapter, they are welcome to do so as well. So,
That's a good idea.
Rick has confirmed that the time works.
What time did you say? 6 or 6:30?
5:30.
5:30.
And then what, planning board is 7?
Planning board is 7. It gives, so I gave just over an hour, because Rick tried to keep it to an hour the last time, so just over an hour. So that is, but I'll try, I'm gonna send invitations out to all the committees, hopefully tomorrow.
Okay. Lock the door and make everybody suffer through the planning board meeting.
We also sent invitations out to all the committees for the community night out that's coming up. The invitation, the Bristol Community Events Committee along with the Bristol Police and Fire Departments are hosting the second annual community night out on Thursday, June 27th in Kelly Park. Last year's response was fabulous with over 15 resource partners and more than 300 people in attendance. We loved having organizations like yours be part of this community and resource-oriented event and hope you will be able to join us this year. And so they were told about information. I added, the town of Bristol will also be hosting a pop-up tent, which I don't know if we have anymore.
We do.
Okay.
And we'll have 2 more, she ordered, they'll be ready before then.
And table for soliciting volunteers again like last year. If any committee members are interested in helping man the booth, answer any questions of anyone that may attend, or have some additional thoughts for boosting volunteer interest, please let me know. I've had 3 people sign up to help me. I don't know if it's boosted any of the committees to do something else for community night out, but it is June, I told you that already, right? June 27th.
Did you just send those emails today?
I sent them out on, oh, I should probably read my email. June 4th, so Tuesday, I sent them out to everybody.
Except the budget committee.
I don't think I got it.
Let me check. I'll check, but I swore I sent it to the budget committee too. Oh, you know what? I may not have. The only reason I may not have is because it's their, you guys are elected,
Yeah,
but you still could solicit for people. So I could, so I can.
But we don't have an opening, so it's not critical, it's
Yeah,
just,
I think that may be why I didn't do it. I didn't send it to the cemetery trustees, they're elected, and I didn't send, even though they may have filled their position.
well, that's okay, but I already had the event, it's on my planning calendar, I'm planning to be there.
So we will have the volunteer forms people filled out last year. I don't, we'll put some other stuff up with the booth. We have the sign that we put up saying, volunteers matter. I don't remember what it says exactly, pretty much volunteers matter, stuff like that,
I
so.
had a good time last year, but I gotta admit, you have me at free food. You have me at free food.
That works.
Speaking of volunteers, I talked to Les and Rob a little bit. We were supposed to do a volunteer appreciation in the spring. I will tell you, I cannot get this done in the spring. So, in July is not going to be a good month because we've got 4th of July stuff, we've got the move, we've got the grand opening celebration. So I had a thought, it also makes it busy, but Old Home Day is August
24th?
Whoops.
I had it on my calendar, but I
I
don't know
mean,
what's
it's the
on my
24th,
head.
I can tell you.
It is August
It is,
24th. So that, my thoughts is the tent will be up that they put up in the field. And I was wondering if the board would consider August 23rd, Friday, for volunteer appreciation. So we would be able to use the tent, space. They have hopefully the tables and chairs are also there.
I should be there.
So, we would be able to use the tables, chairs, the tent space. We could do a volunteer appreciation down there on the 23rd and, maybe hot dogs, hamburgers, if that's what we're gonna do, we can plan it. But that was the thought, because instead of trying to find parking for everybody and get them all into the historic town hall, while the tent was there, it would probably be a good spot.
Yeah.
So if
But that's Friday, right?
yes, it does add, so you have a concert Thursday night. Friday would be, if we do this, the volunteer appreciation, and then Saturday would be Old Home Day.
Well, I get that, I'm just wondering if that will be restrictive for people to show up on a Friday during the day.
What's that or something?
When will they take the tent down?
I don't know, I have to check.
So,
It's after the weekend.
Yeah, it's a new company,
Oh.
So-
last year, was first year.
so we could do Sunday, but that's a lot harder as well for people unless we did it in the afternoon, maybe.
Yeah.
If people know ahead of time, they can
Carol's
plan.
frozen again.
Yeah.
If we put it out now for, I mean, it's enough notice.
I
If
mean,
they
we
wanna
could
go, they
We
can.
could let everybody know we could let the people at the all committees meeting know
Yeah.
that we're doing this, and then also send it out as invitations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's schedule's busy, so I'm not gonna keep, I think Friday night's fine.
Okay, so I'll come back to you with some ideas, for it, so we'll do August 23rd.
Okay.
Preference on time, just probably 5 PM on, I don't know, 6 PM on, or what?
5 or 5:30?
I'd say 6.
We keep losing Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh, we're losing it here?
I'm okay with whatever you decide.
So let me talk.
So am I afterwards.
Are we gonna do like,
I'll be there,
we're
sorry.
gonna do some raffle prizes, some giveaways possibly?
Well, so I've got,
What you got?
do you know the things that we did for the employees at the holiday?
I'll get it.
Yeah, like,
I've got-
yeah, something
I've
like
got
that.
some of those keychains that say,
And we're
I
gonna
don't wanna
contact
spoil
that
it.
other, yeah, no, we'll
so-
contact that other business owner that we discussed, we approached.
You're gonna have to remind me at the end, cause I can't remember.
Fine.
So 8:23, we'll say 5
I know
roughly.
business owner will probably give a gift card.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah,
We'll spoil
donations. Raffles.
Community events might have some gift cards too.
Well, and I did have an idea about possibly we could, he's not gonna be able to get back in while we have no Wi-Fi again.
We could do like one bigger, like, yeah. Do we wanna do like a quiz, or we did a questionnaire, didn't we?
Yeah, we lost
Wasn't there a
Wi-Fi.
test?
We keep losing the private, I don't know what's going on.
You weren't there.
I wasn't
That
that,
the employee luncheon,
yes.
Do we-
Here he comes back again.
I can't remember if we did a quiz and then.
Sorry, Carol, we keep losing
And
Wi-Fi.
then they answered, whoever had the correct question
Oh, okay.
could win a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so, I can do like a bullet list plan and bring it back to you, just to make sure
Yeah.
before the all committees meeting, so I'll do it for your next meeting, and then we can make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also with Old Home Day, Rob and I were talking, Arrow is retiring. They're
That's
doing
right.
something for him on Old Home Day. I talked to Rob about whether to have us bring him into a select board meeting, or do something from the select board on Old Home Day. Rob thinks we should do it on Old Home Day, but we can wait and talk about that at the next meeting when everybody's together too, if we want.
Yep.
Okay. It's not, well,
I
actually,
think the Old Home Day would be nice, that everybody, the citizenry would enjoy it.
okay,
And he's always done events there, so.
right. So
fitting that-
Oh, yeah, seeing the kids crawling.
I was supposed to not say anything because he might hear. But yeah, no, we can plan what we want to do so we can get that ready for Old Home Day then. Not that. Next is, I did email it to you, Carol, separately. We finally provided everything to bond council that we needed to. It took us, we had to go back and find things in 2019, letter of conditions from August of 2019, publications, everything. So we finally got everything in. I'm not gonna pull them up on the screen, but if you look in your folder bond info under TA report, there's a bunch of that's some of the documents we had to provide to the town's attorney. So what we have to do tonight in order for him, we need 2 more things. We need one, he's working on what's called a preliminary bond transcript. As soon as he's done that, it will go to USDA. USDA then will release bugs. USDA will, I know out the corner of my eye, I see it. Will then release it to council, who will review it. And then once they review it and approve, they will allow us to finally go out for RFP. And so we are really trying to get this moving forward. It's been dragging way too long and taken too long.
So the lawyer did sign off on the,
Everything that I've submitted, he's now working on the preliminary bond transcript.
so you did find the,
Yes, finally,
You
thank
found
God.
the notice, yeah.
It took a while to find, and yesterday was the day I found the letter of conditions while I was at the health officer conference.
Good.
So I did find it. The second part of it he's also working on is the interim financing. He's drawn up a draft letter, he sent that to Franklin Savings Bank, and right now they're communicating.
That's right, we were talking about that.
So, what?
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
that before, about Franklin.
So Franklin Savings Bank has approved us for the interim financing, but we've been trying to get all their documents in, and that was the last thing they need. And then they'll schedule a closing, so we can get that part done, and then slowly working on it. So the first part for tonight from the bond attorney, in your folders, and I have the document for you to sign, there is a resolution to authorize, so it's going to sound bad, but this is what the attorney says we have to do because of the original bond. I'll explain. He said there are two documents that require action by the town. A board resolution that the select board should review and vote to adopt at tonight's meeting, and then Rama, the town clerk tax collector, would sign. And a certificate of clerk with exhibits, which are all the things we had to find. And those are in that folder for you to take a look at. And then she would sign and seal that. Once we fully executed those both, I deliver them back to him. If you look at the resolution, it says the resolution to authorize 20 million general obligation bonds for sewer system infrastructure upgrades. Because the 2019 was for 20 million, that's what he needs in order to move forward this resolution. You'll also see there's a separate in the clerk is only 2 million. And you'll see the USDA resolution is only 2 million as well. But he needs to go back to the original 2019 article. So if you want to take a look at that and just see if you have any questions or concerns about it, I would need a motion tonight to adopt that resolution so he can continue his work. He said there will be additional docs for signing before he can issue the actual opinion letter for Franklin Savings Bank, but those will be next week.
Do you see any, the only thing that caught my eye was that he was looking for the $20 million from the original warrant. Is there any, do you foresee any problem with that, Don or Christine, with that?
He's the bond attorney.
I
I don't see any issues, but I understand where you might be a little concerned, but he is the town's bond attorney. So he's the one who's prepared this document
Right.
and told us that we need to do this based from 2019. His other question,
All right.
So what was your question or concern there,
it
Carol?
says 20 million.
Yeah, the 20.
Oh, the fact that it says
Well,
20.
We know we aren't using the 20 million. We know that.
Right.
That's what my question is.
Well, it's
We
just,
don't need the 20 million. We're not gonna use that.
yeah, it's the same thing as at town meeting when the warrant article was approved. It was approved for $20 million. The select board, in theory, could have gone the next day and borrowed $20 million. But obviously,
Right, and
we are not like that we would do that.
And he's,
no, but theoretically, someone could say that we could do that now, right, if we do this.
Oh, we still could,
we
yeah.
still could.
Yeah, I mean, it's still on the table that
Right.
we could borrow, we could bond $20 million still and just go ahead and do it.
But no longer our town.
Yeah. okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God. His second part says, I see that the town already adopted the USDA board resolution form for the bond anticipation note of 2 million. He said, did USDA instruct the town to do that, which they did. They were the ones who sent it to me. And then they said, if so, it can stay as is. If not, the board should adopt a new version of the same form, but replace 2 million with 20 million. So USDA sent us that, and so he was gonna say we had to do both with 20 million, but he's saying because USDA sent their resolution to us, it's okay for that to stay as 2 million, but he still needs the other one to say 20.
Okay.
Because it says the 20 million reflects the full authority the voters gave to the board in 2019.
Right, okay.
So I would add to all this, just for the record, that this is a process step that we're taking to make sure we can get the money we need for the projects we are doing.
Correct.
There's no intent of the select board's part to change the decision on the sewer to the lake.
Right,
Correct,
yeah, absolutely.
right. Where's the-
I can see where people would misunderstand that.
And the two projects that are being considered are the Central Street Pump Station and Forest Main. Those are all engineered, ready to go. And then depending the Economic Development Authority funding, then the Lake Street extension, which wouldn't go to the sewer, wouldn't go to the lake. It just is that
Yeah.
section, so.
So you need the motion?
So what do you need?
A motion.
I need a motion. Do you
You
wanna,
got the motion
do
figured
you
out?
wanna read his words, or do you care?
Do you-
Do I have that?
It may, did I put it in
I
there?
move
There's
that the
one in there.
resolution entitled.
Sorry.
Let me just read it and see if it matches. I move that the resolution entitled Resolution
Okay.
to authorize $20 million general obligation bonds for sewer system infrastructure upgrades be approved in form presented to this meeting.
Oh, it's right there.
And that an attested copy of said resolution be included with the minutes of this meeting.
Yep.
Second.
All right, motion by Les, second by Scott. Any more discussion? And as Carol said, the intent is not to spend 20 million, it's to spend the 2 million on the Central Street project, which absolutely needs to be done.
So it's
Central Street Pump Station.
It's 1 million on the Central Street project, but it would be 2 if we do get the full funding and we continue with the Lake Street extension.
Okay. Oh, okay, that was
Yeah.
for the Lake Street
Yeah.
extension on economic development. All right. Roll call vote, Carol?
Aye.
Okay, there we go. Scott?
Aye.
Good. And Les, Don, aye. Passes 4-0-0. Thank you. What else? Much?
I don't
It
know.
was easier when we got it printed to you
I know, I'm
before.
sorry.
Yeah, no.
I can give
It was
short. You could shut me down. So
Good
I
now,
just,
too, you know.
I know.
Do you have much more, seriously?
I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything.
Um,
June employee appreciation, we would like to, we did post the June employees, so we would like to say thank you to the executive office and the beach department, Deborah Clark Tippy for 7 years, Amanda Fleury for 4 years. Fire department, Benjamin LaRoche, 20 years. George Clayman, 13 years. Cameron Foster, 2 years. Jacob Warren celebrates his first year. Highway department, Victor Greenwood, 9 years. Ron Shaman celebrates his first year. Library, Cynthia Westfall, 22 years. Police department, Nicholas Kelly, 11 years. Water and sewer department, Kenneth Pelletier, 15 years. We also started doing the quarterly drawing. We put everybody who's in those quarters into, and draw a name. The second quarter drawing, and she didn't draw her own, for employee appreciation was winner Deborah Clark Tibby. She won a $25 gift card to Cielitos. So, but she did not draw her own. Let's see.
Anything else?
Did temporary alternate duty. On the public safety building, I do not have full updates for you this evening. We are having a public safety building meeting next week. We have a number of issues that we are working with Gruen on right now. And some things that it's a laundry list of items that they need to address. So at that meeting, after that meeting, I should be able to provide you a better update for where we're at. So, if you have something specific, I can try to answer those, but I don't have a full answer tonight, so. We
Any
did
progress
go,
on the sign? Sorry, Don, sorry.
Go ahead,
Any
Carol.
progress on the sidewalk, or have I missed it because I haven't been there?
so they did install the cement curbing, they have not finished the cement curbing, and unfortunately, it looks because of the weather, they finished the cement curbing, but they haven't done the regular part of it, and with the weather, it looks like that will stay that way through the weekend.
They
We
can
met,
walk into the driveway. and
we don't have,
They
there's
don't
no,
have to go in the
right,
street.
you can walk into the driveway now, so.
But, the question then is with the water line.
So, they were there, and I've been told that they are taking care of that, but they don't have to have a big piece of equipment to do that. I think they can just dig down, is what we found out. We held Tuesday, we went and did a site visit with Jeff, and also with Ben, myself, and the permit, and Mike Lacasse. From that, there were 2 additional things that came out. What Jeff said is they can dig straight down. They don't need a big piece of equipment and get to the shut off and take care of it that way. We've been assured by Bruin that they're holding the contractor to do that. And that's what I'm hoping we'll get a better update, at next week's meeting. I will tell you the other 2 things. I am not technical words, so there's a sewer main. It looks like a catch basin to me when you take the sewer main cover off, but there's no grate in it. And so there's a ring, it's supposed to be 30 inches, they put in a 24 inch. So they've been told that they have to replace that. It means they're going to have to dig it out, cut it out.
So it's supposed to be 30.
Yeah, so, and Jeff was like, well, we could probably let it go, but then if we have to get down, and I'm like, no, we're not letting it go, it needs to be 30, so.
You don't have a skinny enough guy to.
Jeff said I used to be able to fit. Not me, him. And then, the other thing, we turned on the water to the building to allow the plumbing early. And they were supposed to put in shut-off valve, and they didn't do it, so they've been told that they have to put that in as well.
Shut off valve where?
Inside,
Inside the building?
yeah, because then you don't have to go out and dig it up, you can shut it off in the building instead, and so they're supposed to take care of that as well. As far as anything else, there are some other things. I don't, again, don't hold me to the words. The wrong doors were installed, and so Ben's been working with them to fix that. They installed quarter light when it was supposed to be half light. They installed, or vice versa. I'll have a better.
The window in the door isn't big enough.
Yeah.
Or it's
No,
wrong.
it's too big.
Or is wrong, yeah.
It's too big.
Window in the door.
And it's wrong, so, and they put the wrong doors in, so they're working to fix that.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know the other list yet, but, the
Okay.
paving, I haven't gotten an update on yet. The dips,
Oh, they did.
so that's where we're at. So far, we are meeting with them again next week, and Ben is sending them a list, again, and asking for an update, so.
Yeah, this point in the project's always a punch list.
Yeah.
That you get through.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's why next week's meeting is going to be extensive. It's going to be a lot about punch list, what needs to be finished.
Okay.
So I do not think we're gonna get the keys on June 12th yet, but that's next week.
Yeah.
We don't want them until it's done.
That never works.
And if I get a better update before that, I'll just email everybody.
Okay. Anything else?
Did they say where the dips are in the pavement?
When it rains, you can tell. There was one over near one of the corners. It leaves a big puddle, and it shouldn't be, so.
Okay.
Let me
We haven't
just
had
check.
much rain lately.
No,
Community events.
it was making up for last year.
Yeah.
All right, cemetery workshop, The cemetery trustees just wanted to submit a thank you. These people attended the workshop, so John, Victoria, Soren, Ray, and Cheryl, thank you very much for attending the workshop at the Keyser Cemetery. The chair hoped that they all took something from the workshop that will help when the call goes out for the next workshop in September. They held a workshop at the cemetery on repairing stones, and it was open to people. They'll be doing another one in September. It is very interesting when they do it, but they will be doing other things in the cemetery, and he will share that along with them. They did have somebody attend their cemetery trustees meeting today, and if that person goes through with putting their name in to join the cemetery trustees, I'll have an appointment before them at your next meeting.
Okay. Cool.
Which will fill a spot that's been open for like 3 years,
Yeah,
2 years.
long time.
This is the flyer for the community night out, just in case you haven't seen it. We'll make sure that that gets posted. It's different as well. There's a climbing wall, fire trucks, police, New Hampshire Fish and Game vehicles, and then food.
Cool.
Free food, bar, popcorn, and other treats and fun for the whole family. Last year they ran out of food, so
That's good.
yeah.
A lot more food this year.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
that it's that popular.
I didn't share that for Carol, but let me share this. Carol had brought this up. Reason I'm bringing this up is this is the sign at the end of Shore Drive. Carol's concern was that it says Town of Bristol taxpayers and residents only with permit. It really should say parking. I'd rather not try to change, we can put up something on it temporary, but I'd rather not order new signs right now. And try, if we can, because we had to order the beach ordinance signs.
Those signs, those are on the other barrels at the parking, right?
Yeah.
So why
Right.
do we need it at the entrance? Just take the one.
People want it at the entrance, by the way. We've had complaints that we moved it over because it slows down the people coming into the road.
No, why do we have the parking
Oh.
sign at the entrance? Just take that off at the entrance
You
one
could,
and leave it on the others.
Yeah, that was my thought, yeah.
Yeah, I wondered why it
If
was
you
there
don't-
too.
If you don't know the street and you don't know the area, it looks like you're not supposed to drive it.
Right.
Yeah, like you can't drive it without a permit.
Yep.
Yeah. So just take that one off.
Right.
good idea.
Surprised Paul hasn't complained.
Yeah, probably cuts back on the traffic.
So, all right, we'll take care of that. We're already making a list for when we do the beach closeout. We have a suggestion for changing the ordinance, but we'll worry about that when we do the closeout. Their Department of Energy newsletters are in your packets. Update on the church application, the church property. So as of the date of this email, thank you, which was May 17th, the historic review was in the hands of New Hampshire Department of Historical Resources. He expected a response within 2 weeks. We don't have it yet. I will follow up with him. The survey is 4 to 6 weeks from then. So we're closer to 4 or 3 maybe now. So I'll follow up and just check on it. But that's what's holding up our closing right now, is just to get the survey finished, so. The Shore Drive, we had that meeting about the stormwater on Shore Drive. The information is in your folders. I can email that out to you. There's 2 documents. There's oops, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
There are 2 documents in your folders. One is the meeting notes from the primary stakeholder group, the discussion. And then one is the
top.
Okay. And one is the original document that we used. You have to stop share every time so that you can.
Yes. Unless you share your screen.
So, and one is the original document that they came to us about.
Okay.
That's not in the stuff sent by email, right? I don't have that.
No, I'll email that to you all separately.
Yeah.
That was their original summary, and then there is their meeting notes, is here from the primary stakeholder group when we met in May.
Okay.
So I'll just email that out separately.
Yep.
And then what else is in that folder? The TA report.
Okay.
The business site, Cade was waiting to get access to a Gmail account that's associated with the business site. He was able to get somewhat of a backup. It's not a full backup of the site. Do you want to give a little more information, Cade?
I'm gonna try a password reset on an account that nobody's sure whether or not we actually have, and to see if I get a password for it. And then the site is still there. Hopefully, if that works, it'll be easy. If that doesn't work, we're gonna need just a new domain for it, hopefully, and we can reassign the entire site to a new domain. And that's a service that we can pay for, or I can try to learn how to do it. So that's where that's at.
I think that, I will let you move on because to select board items, and I will try to remember if there was anything else, so.
All right. Select board items. Carol, select board item?
No, I didn't have anything to sign at the end of the Lake Road, but I will say for Kate and for Christina, when you're out here on Zoom, the mic, the person sitting at the little table with that microphone can be heard perfectly. The rest of you sound like you're in a cave because it's being picked up by the TV. So why can't we have a mixer, have 6 mics, one for each person, and a table and have a mixer, and send it there less expensively? We don't need to talk about it now, just throwing that out there.
Okay. Thank you. Scott?
I don't have too much, just that the Bristol open air market has been operating and has been pretty busy. It seems like there's quite a bit of traffic. I did hear of one little, mishap with the older person pulling into the park and taking a long enough time and then pulling in, almost causing an accident. But seems like
I
they're
talked
busy.
to Paul Sodano the other day, because he's kind of overseeing it, and he said it's been so busy that lots of vendors and things about. The only thing he asked was if the grass could be mowed on Fridays. And I explained that the highway doesn't work on Fridays. So I did talk to Trevor a little bit about it, and they might be able to do Thursdays. So that because they're concerned about ticks. So that was the only thing. The grass is growing really quickly right now.
Yeah, that's what happens in this time.
Yeah.
Well, it'll slow down right now. All the dryness.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
dry.
Yeah, a lot of people cut first crop hay already. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Anything else?
No, I can't do it.
Russ?
Community events?
Oh,
Either one of us can.
I didn't put the email from Claire in,
That's
but,
okay.
we do, I can't remember if I talked to you about part of this or not, but I did talk to some of the other members, on part of community events. I do think, we've talked about bringing, I was supposed to get a new member in here tonight, I didn't get time to get her in, so I'll get her to the next meeting. But I do think we need to start bringing, the committee in, for my part, for expectations from the board. And I was thinking after August, because that would get us through Old Home Day to have them start coming in. I don't know if you wanna do them individually or bring in as a group. So that's one of the questions I had, and then, what else was, community events was Claire,
I
right?
would think we'd wanna bring them in as a group.
As a group.
Just not, that, can you imagine how long, if we're gonna do every committee individually, that would
Yeah,
be a couple of years.
so we do have a new member that we'll bring in for a meet and greet. So we'll bring her in for the June 20th meeting.
Okay.
And then my thoughts are to get us through the busy seasons and start bringing them in for committee guidelines and expectations after Old Home Day.
Okay,
So the bigger issue is Claire is retiring,
right.
so we're going to, but she has done front loaded a lot of the summer activities. She is still willing to do the brochure, so she'll do the fall, winter brochure, and she'll do this time of year, the summer brochure, as long as she can, but she doesn't want to do the Facebook and the updates and all of those types of things. So we really are going to have to see how much money we have left in the budget after the work that's been done, and how much, how do we want to do this? Because Claire was a contractor,
Right.
or we subcontracted with her, but we may not find somebody that has that kind of insurance. So I think we might need to have somebody on staff or on payroll to fulfill some of that. So that's a discussion that we have to have as a board to decide how we want to go forward.
And Claire did send a list of, sent her contract, a contract draft, but she also sent a monthly task list that she had for the coordinator, so that it would give the board more perspective of the amount of work that she does. So I got that yesterday, but I wasn't here for part of the day, so I didn't see it until this afternoon.
Well, I think the board, the committee, Claire's meeting, her final meeting with the committee is Monday.
Yeah.
So after that meeting, we'll have an idea if there are committee members who's gonna pick up what parts that we need to have done, and then what's gonna be left to have somebody else do.
You're meeting too, though, right, with us
Oh, we're
earlier, me, you, and Claire?
2:30.
Yep.
On Monday prior to, with Claire to go over that list and.
Go over the list and some budgeting things, and then, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't want to take it on, so I just want you to know I am still an admin on the community events Facebook page. So I can assign people when Claire, and I can answer things temporarily, until somebody else is picked. I don't know if Cade's an admin. I believe Cade's an admin, yeah. So we're both admins on the community events Facebook page.
And you should be.
Yeah.
As TA, you should.
Well,
You should have that.
I
kind of
created
access.
this Facebook page,
Yeah.
but I
But
was
the
going to drop
TA
off.
the TA should have that access.
So we can, in the interim, until the board finalizes their decision, you could do you can program posts ahead, and you just set them all up and program them, and they just post as the day approaches, so.
Okay.
But it would be good for the board to decide what to do.
Yeah, that is open item.
She does a lot.
She
A
has
lot that we can't talk
she's done a lot for many years. It's been
Mm-hmm.
great. We should probably do something in
We
recognition.
definitely want to do something. I think Lucille's gonna get flowers. We're still on public, so, and there was an item that she wanted that I'm working on.
Okay. Could present it at a board meeting maybe, or?
I was gonna do it Monday, I think, but we couldn't put it
Okay.
back for a board meeting and we
I was gonna say sometime we should at least have
We should definitely.
we should
put
have
it
a
back.
board meeting and have her here
I
on
can see.
Old Home Day.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she'll go.
She'll
Yeah.
think we're just trying to reel her in to help with all.
Yeah, that's something, when somebody retires after that much, even as a contractor,
Yeah, we should do
You know,
something.
Yeah, just even if we give her a certificate at a board meeting, at least,
So,
appreciation.
I can see if she can come to so the meeting that you just said was shorter is starting to add up.
Well,
But I
yeah.
can see if
I mean, it
she,
doesn't have to be the next one, just sometime.
I think it probably would be better if it's the next one there,
Yeah.
because I think she,
Let her have some closure.
yeah,
Okay.
she'll be, yeah.
All right. Okay. Anything
Well,
else?
not me, no, that's all.
I know, this is all over the place there. I only had the CIP thing, which we already covered, so I'm good. Public comments, we do have public,
I only got one.
okay?
Uh,
You say your name for the minutes?
Robert Fellows, Beach Street.
Thanks.
When somebody develops a piece of property, you get a site plan, right?
No, not always.
No?
Not for residential, no.
Residential, they can hand draw something, it's not an official site.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
but you still get something that shows the way the building's gonna sit, the drainage on the building.
No, not the drainage, no.
That's something you should get into, I guess.
So we can only do so much though.
I understand that, but if you allow this to continue the way it is, we're gonna be beating our heads against the wall for drainage everywhere. Because as it is now, we've got a problem up there with the yellow house. The other day before, yesterday or the day before, they paved the first one of the new buildings they put in there.
Oh, you mean
The apartments.
the 40 and 50 Beach Street?
Yep.
Yep.
And all of that water's running into the road, running into the street. They've put a gully in the pavement to run it right out there. It's gonna be another problem.
Paving requires a driveway permit and a sign off from the highway department, so
department.
we can check on it and see if they
Is
did
this-
do that.
This residential apartments, not business.
Yeah, it's 2 units,
Okay,
so,
yeah.
I
2
meant to
units
stop
in
and
each
talk to
building.
them, but they graded it one day and paved it the next. So, that kind of ruined that.
Part of the problem is that we don't have a building code, one. We do have
Right.
some regulations with driveway regulations, so we might be able to have them take a look at it and see if it's been signed off on yet, so.
And that is a landowner that wants to do the job right, so.
Yeah, yes, he would do it, right? Yep.
And they're gonna dig the street down here for the new building to turn the water on, right? For the,
To shut the water off,
in the street?
yep. They have to dig down in the street to the,
To the main.
thank you,
There's
to
a
the
shut-off.
main, and they have the shut-offs where they have to put those shut-offs in and cut them off so that they're not just running underground again.
Oh,
The two old lines.
right.
Yeah, the lines to the old.
Yeah, the old
Gotcha.
lines, yeah.
Gotcha,
That's what they have to do, yep.
gotcha.
Okay,
Because they were talking about that the other day when I was out.
yeah.
I sneak down every once in a while.
It's easy now with no
You're
fence.
keeping them straight, I hope.
Not a chance, I haven't got time enough.
Well, thank you.
See
You're
ya.
welcome.
Thank you, Bob.
Do you have anything, Paul?
No, I came for budget committee and we did that.
All right.
Thanks for turning that air conditioner on in the last
Yeah.
20 minutes.
God, it was getting hotter and hotter.
I should have went over
All
to
right. If that's it,
I'll make a
then,
motion to adjourn.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, crap.
Too late.
Oh,
Go enjoy yourself. It's gonna have to wait for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Kenna?
Enjoy yourself, Carol. Thanks.
One more thing.
He's
Froze
froze. He's
again.
gone.
Say again?
He froze again.
We're all done. See ya. Enjoy yourself.
No. Oh, I didn't understand what you said, no, no, I'm not proposing.
Now, we adjourned. Bye.
No, that,